So, uh, thank you guys. Welcome to my live. So this is on YouTube. Watching, you can go to YouTube to the channel DJ Daktari Price and watch. Today, I want to do a small something about the health education. Like I said, professional, and I work with the HIV program where we deal with care and treatment and also prevention. We deal with cancer and cervical cancer screening treatment program. We also do breast cancer for eligible clients, and so today I want to take you through something on Sunday. On Sunday we did something, and we did something to do with the breast, and also we did an overview of the cancer of the cervix and the numbers in Kenya and global numbers. So today, to do a little bit of the pathogenesis, or the pathogenesis of the human papilloma virus. We cannot talk about cancer of the cervix without YouTube kama itakomea sasa, kwa sababu nimetengeneza setup. Niambie YouTube ina hang mpaka maji ya kunywa. So I think kwa Hello. So we are back. You're live. You're live. You're live. You're live. So yeah, today we said we're going to talk about human papilloma virus, which is responsible for the cancer of the cervix. Yeah, but this is live on YouTube, so you can go to the YouTube channel and YouTube and on Facebook. On my Facebook, this is live. So I want to take you through the pathogenesis of the human papilloma and in relation to cancer of the cervix. So, who is at risk of getting cancer of the cervix? Women getting the cancer of the cervix. What causes cancer of the cervix? Cancer of the cervix is by persistent infection with several types of there are over 100 subtypes of the human papilloma virus, and the major culprit that accounts for most of the cases is the subtype 16 and subtype 18. So yeah, acquiring the human papilloma virus. So basically, the risk factors they include early sex debut. So early sex debut, but the first sexual encounter at a very young age is a risk factor to acquiring the human virus, because like we said, the human papilloma virus also it is mainly transmitted through sexual contact. However, you can have what we call the version where it is transmitted from mother to child. Or you can get it on the surfaces in form of fomites. Yeah, so also that it is responsible for several types of, where we talk of the cancer of the penis, which is very rare, but it usually occurs, especially in men who are older than 65 years. And it also causes cancer of the anus, and then cancer of the pharynx or the oropharynx, and cancer of the cervix. So we have very many types of subtypes of HPV, but about 40 are responsible for most of the anogenital warts, where we have some that are probable oncogenic, but then meaning that they might or they might not cause the cancer. So, but our biggest culprit who is oncogenic is mainly the type 16, 18, 31, 33, 35, 35, 51, 52, 56, 58, 59, 68, 73, and 82. So these are the dangerous. Now you have this frequent infection with this. Now you getting cancer of either the oropharynx ni njia ya mdomo and the pharynx. So, the ones that usually associated with the warts, type 6 and which is responsible for over 90% of anogenital warts. And for the healthcare workers, it should be noted that and even the public, it should be noted that the external genital warts are very contagious with the infectivity of up to above 75% when you come into contact with them, and they have a very high rate of recurrence. Is that you're going to have a recurrence or another wart growing or coming up again is very high. So you should be careful when you're handling clients with. And is usually acquired mostly through course. And also one good that a condom cannot prevent against acquiring HPV. So in your messaging or how you package your it should be noted that you cannot prevent HPV by using a condom. And also one thing that should be noted is that HPV does not a cure. The only thing we have at the moment is the vaccine, and the safest way to prevent the cancer people of reproductive age is through screening. So at the moment, the people who are eligible for screening, for those who are HIV negative, we start at 25 years of age if they are sexually active. So sexual activity is also a key thing to note. So if someone is sexually active and they've attained the age of 25, they're eligible for now screening. Yeah, Aaron, yaje. Thanks. So for any woman who is HIV negative, they are above 25 years of age, they're eligible for screening, depending on the type of screening. We have various methods of screening that we're going to talk about. We have what we call cytology, that is famously known as pap smear. We also have what we call HPV testing, which is usually recommended for women above the age of 30. And we also have another method called visual inspection, where we use a chemical known as acetic acid. Yeah, so the majority of infections usually they clear in 1 or 2 years because of the natural body immunity, like we said earlier. And then with persistent infection, then there's the high risk of developing the cancer. Also, most of this infection is very asymptomatic, and you only know when now you start having the problem, maybe the warts, or you start having cancer. So that is why now it is easy to transmit the disease, because you don't get the symptoms unless you start seeing the signs. So when you see the signs, it means now you've had this thing for a very long period, because your body usually keeps on fighting it. But the moment it is overwhelmed, then now you start seeing the signs. So another thing, the HPV kind virus, because it gives you time. You see, now the time entering the infection and the development of cancer is at least 10 years. You see, now you have like 10 years. If you know now you are of age, maybe you are 25. When you get that infection, if it has to progress until you get the cancer, then you're going to get cancer earliest when you're 35. So it means this is the virus is very kind. It is not as aggressive. But if not detected early, then you know what happens with that. So so the risk factors, age also can be a risk factor. So you see now, for those people who are in their 30s, late 30s, in their 40s, and they've been sexually active, have not been screened earlier, then the risk of getting cervical cancer is high. So we also have the issue of having sex at a very young age. Also, the issue of having multiple sexes is also a very factor. Then we also have the issue of having too many children, especially at a young age. We'll talk about mortality. Then the lower socioeconomic strata or low socioeconomic status is also another factor that increases the chances of having the cancer. You're also not being screened. You see, now you have that age, you've been sexually active, you've had multiple sexual partners, maybe you've been exposed to the virus very many times, so you've been having persistent infections. So if you don't get screened, then means proteins in the HPV virus are usually activated by the carcinogens in the cigarettes. So cigarettes are some of the risk factors. So if you smoke tobacco, you increase your chances of getting this cancer of the cervix. So co-infection with other STIs. So most of the time you get like when you have an infection, you get a process inflammation takes place. Inflammation causes issues in the integrity of your member. Become very permeable. They become one in one or another. So it breaks through membranes, and as you know, huko ndani the membranes zinakuwa very delicate, si zile si kama ngozi ya nje. So chlamydia and the likes, you increase your chances of acquiring virus, because now sometimes the membranes at the back, it makes it easy for other nations to take opportunity problems. Also, immunity status. So we have people who are immunocompromised, and we have states that you can have immunosuppression, e.g. cause in the event that someone has a very long period, 10 years, how whole decade, and that is the minimum. So it can go to up even to 15 years, some 20 years, but nowadays 10 years is the least. So it could go even higher depending on the competence. How do you suspect someone might be having maybe cancer of the cervix? So basically, if you have abnormal bleeding during or after sex, or bleeding between your menses, sometimes there are those women who have already attained their menopause and now they start experiencing vaginal bleeding, and that should be a concern. You should at least come to the hospital and get checked. Also, unusual vaginal discharge. Sometimes you get discharge that is not even periods, is not even the normal discharge that women experience, maybe during the ovulation, between pass and so. But like we say, system, and also a point to HPV virus does not go into the blood, so it does not cause viremia. It does not cause, like, the virus is usually confined to the cervix. Like, that is where it thrives. That is where it has time to cause now to do the problems. So you cannot, even if you get a positive HPV test, you quantify it by doing a viral load. So it does not cause viremia. So it will go into the cervix, to the tissues of the cervix. So it is not be transmitted through now the issue of blood, because you see now the other diseases that to your blood, the likes of HIV and maybe other viruses, but HPV does not cause viremia. So yeah, when it gets into your then it goes to the basal cells. So the deepest layer of what we call, most it starts the process of integrating its DNA to the host cell's DNA, so that now it can start the process of reproducing. So it starts infecting the immature cells. Huko deep zile bado hazijakuwa zifike kwa surface. It starts as you move up a lot of infected cells, then zinakuja mpaka kwa surface, then they break. When they break, usually the cell uses the virus usually uses the host cell's machinery to make copies. Ita zikibreak huku juu zina release more viruses, now which means this person mwenye alikuwa na hii infection na ameanza kupata what we call dysplasia, ama the normal cells are changing into the precancerous cells. Now anaanza ku shed more virus, pia ako very contagious, inamaanisha. So if you have sex with a person who is having now the process of the virus trying to exist, then you're highly likely to acquire the infection from them. So ina change the mature cells as it comes up, and so the normal cell functioning, so everything inaanza kuwa to erratic because now the DNA imeacha kuwa the DNA of the cancer cells. So this process inaendeleanga tu, it's like an ongoing process. Time it inaanza kuleta what we call the precancerous cells. Na hizi precancerous cells zina cause what we call the neoplasia ama the intraepithelial lesions. So wakati hiyo process haijashika kasi, nasema mild in medical terms, it causes a moderate, very limited, a very minimal change, which we call dysplasia. And this results into something we call the low-grade squamous intraepithelial lesion. So for those healthcare workers and patients, when you're making the results, the cytology ama the pap smear, usually you have hizo terminologies. Wanasema CIN. So CIN is basically cervical intraepithelial neoplasia. So you can have CIN1 where the change is very minimal, and you can have CIN2 where the change is very marked but not as bad. Then you can have what we call CIN3 where we have now severe, like there's everywhere now. The cells have totally changed, even in function, in function. So this stage we might even have what we call now the cancer stage, but they are the precancer stage. So origin or from the what we call the columna, but we will not get much into that, where you can get a cancer of the glandular epithelium, or we call it adenocarcinoma. So now, like we said, the process usually takes time. From the time of onset of infection, if it does not clear up, is when we expect to have the cancer. So we have like 9 years to prevent this cancer, to see it before it becomes cancer. So it's good people to go get screened. Actually, the screening at the moment is types of screening. Like the method is free at all government facilities and even maybe select private facilities. There are a lot of partners involved in the cancer prevention program. So people should and get screened. So like we said, cancer of the cervix is one unique cancer because it is the only type of cancer that is caused by an infection, the only one. And it is caused by an infection that does not have cure. It is caused that only has a vaccine. And this vaccine is only given to people who have not yet been exposed to sex. So At the moment, vaccination in Kenya is offered to children between the age of 10 to 14, the girls who have no history of sexual contact. If you know you have a child who is between 10 and 14 and you're sure they've not been exposed to sex, they are eligible for vaccination, and the vaccines are also offered for free at all public institutions, public hospitals. So you guys take advantage. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and knowledge is power. Yeah, it's good to share knowledge, especially those of us who are privileged enough to go through the trainings, access to this information. Yeah, so moving forward, there are a lot of things we are going to be tackling on the issue of cervical cancer. Why are we giving so much emphasis on cervical cancer? So this is simply because Kenya losing many women at the moment, and this is as of 2020, so maybe the numbers are high. As of 2020, we were losing 9 women per day because of complication of the cancer of the cervix. So that is over 3,000 women a year die for that can be prevented. So yeah. Also, now cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related death in Kenya, and it affects the women. Cancer of breast is the second most cause of death or the death in Kenya. So you see, our women are at a disadvantage here. So we are losing a total of about 16 per day because of cancers that can be prevented. So along the way we touch on cancer of the breast, which is the most easy to do the screen. You can have something called clinical breast examination where the client is examined by health, and also we have something we call breast examination where the healthcare provider trains, teaches, shows the client how to do self-breast examination. Yeah, and let's educate one another. Let's empower one another. Now, cancers are getting in way of our livelihoods. I know people think these things are a joke, but you don't have to until you get affected. You can take action by spreading the message, spreading the awareness, and yeah. Out of the 9, we are able to help even 1 or 2. We'll move steps ahead in us. So until next time, this has been DJ Daktari Price. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go by the name DJ Daktari Price on YouTube. And sometimes, if I'm in the mood, I do music mixes. So until next time, guys, peace.